News Radio for the best of relaxation. Watch out! Quarter News. You and the Law, and carefully selected, enchantingly beautiful musical pieces. Okay. Only on 88.4 Royal FM, Cameroon.
And if you are joining us, the program is Melting Pot coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. It is another opportunity for us to talk music. And music, since it's an edutainment program, we give you good gospel music where we take you right up to 7 p.m. where we have our mutual assistance and solidarity mass. So then we are going to move forward to talk about a very striking issue. And we are going to be talking about discipline this evening. Can a youth or can a young man, can any Cameroonian succeed without being disciplined? When our expert meets, we are going to be talking about that aspect in this edition of the program Melting Pot coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. Our team this evening, we have Irish Kemwe. He is our DJ of the day. He will be the one to be selecting us the good sounds that we are going to be listening in this program. Equally, we have Jean-Marie Otu. Yes, he is a video editor on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, Royal FM Cameroon. Melting Pot is a production of Royal 88.4 FM under the coordination of Jean-Paul Siantala, our Director General. And today's edition is under the supervision of Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noy. For presentation, call me DJ B298. My name is Abel Bela Samari. We are not going to waste any time. We are going to take you to our first music of the day. And it is with this gospel music, a very interesting one that we are going to be listening at this point in time. And our DJ of the day, Rich Kemwe, say we take this.
Push it up.
At the time where we are celebrating the feast of sacrifice. It is joy in our life, it's joy in our moment. The program is Melting Pot coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. We continue with good music. Let's listen to this particular music. I have joy in my life. Did you have joy? Do you have joy in your life? Music. And we continue with music. We live from I have joy in my life. This time we are moving up to another crescendo. We are moving up to another level. This evening with good music coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. The program is Melting Pot. Melting Pot, we meet you as we educate you.
Je sens le feu de ce côté. Et je sens la flamme de ce côté. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. D'autres adorent les autres. Pas comme ça. Je vois pas tes mains. De ce côté. D'autres adorent les autres. D'autres adorent tes poids. D'autres adorent la fétine. D'autres adorent Mariko. D'autres adorent Jésus.
Special dedication to my very good man. They call him Soeheba Abba, who is here with me in the studio. And in a minute ahead, you'll be getting what he has to say in this program. But before that, let's continue with this wonderful music coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. The program is Melting Pot. Melting Pot, we melt everything as we give you edutainment.
Est-ce que vous êtes prêts?
Est-ce qu'il est vivant dans ta vie?
Il est vivant.
Est-ce qu'il est vivant?
Il est vivant.
Bon, démontre-moi qu'il est vivant.
D'autres adorent les autres, d'autres adorent Mariko, d'autres adorent Marabout, d'autres le bois sacré, animaux sacrés, les eaux sacrées, montagnes sacrées, d'autres adorent poisson, poisson, poisson,
Tu as
j'ai
bien dit
dit
poisson.
poisson,
Nous on mange poisson. Nous on mange poisson. On fait son braisé.
on fait son grillé,
On fait sa soupe.
on fait son fumé,
Avec un tiéké.
avec un loco,
Un peu de riz.
Avec du chef. Mais nous on adore Jésus. On saute, on saute, on saute, on saute. Jésus, 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 Jésus. On saute, 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 on tourne, Il est vivant, il est pas mort. Jésus est vivant, il est pas mort. Mon roi est vivant, il est pas mort. Il est pas mort.
La vie est sécurisée.
being disciplined. That will be our talking point. When I expert the journalists in the studio, can someone succeed without being disciplined? That is what we are going to be discussing in a minute and a half. But before then, let's take this music.
C'est validé, c'est dans la poche. Oh yeah, je suis dépassé, ce qui n'était qu'un rêve, Dieu l'a réalisé.
Oh yeah, je suis dépassé, ce qui n'était qu'un rêve, Dieu l'a réalisé.
Ma vie est un miracle, venez voir un rêve que Dieu a réalisé. Oh
yeah, je suis dépassé, ce qui n'était qu'un rêve, Dieu l'a réalisé.
Malgré les difficultés, malgré les soucis, oh, venez voir un rêve que Dieu a réalisé.
Le miracle de Dieu. Ce qui n'était qu'un rêve, Dieu l'a réalisé.
Toi qu'on appelle le président ou monsieur le maire, ce n'était qu'un rêve que Dieu a réalisé.
Je suis dépassé, ce qui n'était qu'un rêve, Dieu l'a réalisé.
Bishop Zanga. Tout le monde a le droit de rêver, car c'est le rêve qui devient réalité. Souviens-toi, président, quand tu rasais les murs. Souviens-toi, ma maman, quand tu cherchais le mariage. Hey, Bengis, quand tu voulais les papiers. Souviens-toi, ma star, au début de ta carrière. Mais maintenant, la main de Dieu a t'a ramassé pour te mettre au sommet. Et ta vie a changé. Un tout. Tes relations ont changé, oh. Même ton nom a changé. Le proprio, papa l'argent, maman bonheur. Le cerveau de l'homme est tellement petit qu'il oublie très vite là où Dieu l'a ramassé, hein. Ou bien, il ne faut pas oublier, mono. C'est Dieu qui t'a aimé, caro. Il ne faut pas t'éloigner à Gabio. De ce Dieu qui t'a aimé à mon obéi. Tous les jours de ta vie, apprends à lui dire merci. Car ce Dieu est bon. Dieu est bon. Je vous dis que Jésus est bon. Aïe, Dieu est bon. Joachim, communicateur international. Merci mon frère. À tous mes fans, je m'adresse à vous. Écoutez. Le Dieu que je loue, c'est un Dieu de miracles. Il est riche en bonté et très lent à la colère. Il nous comble de sa grâce, il nous a donné son amour. Sans même le connaître, Jésus est mort pour nous. Bon, ce Dieu est bon. Le bon Dieu, Dieu est bon. Je vous dis que Jésus est bon. Aïe, Dieu est bon. L'américain, regardez comment quelqu'un danse car il a déjà réussi, hein. Asik. Hey, moi qui, moi quoi, moi comment et moi pourquoi. Président Emmanuel Missaï, la bénédiction avec nous. Merci papa pour la façon, l'amitié, l'assistance et la solidarité. C'est l'Éternel lui-même qui t'a inspiré ce projet, mon père. Appel à tous nos peuples, inscrivez-vous et vos rêves vont se réaliser au nom de Jésus. De location en location, ma famille avait souffert. Et je vous assure, le loyer m'a traumatisé. J'avais longtemps rêvé de vivre un jour chez moi. Petit à petit, grâce à Dieu, l'oiseau a fait son nid. Assis bas, regardez mon palais. Venez voir un rêve que Dieu a réalisé.
Je suis dépassé, ce qui n'était qu'un rêve.
Enfant béni, attention mes danseurs, on y va.
Je suis dépassé, je suis dépassé, je suis dépassé, je suis dépassé,
libéral.
je suis dépassé, je suis dépassé, je suis dépassé.
De fiançailles en fiancé, son cœur était brisé. Le célibat l'avait déjà chandélisé. Elle a longtemps prié d'avoir un jour un foyer. Mais aujourd'hui, grâce à Dieu, elle a trouvé sa moitié. Asimo, regardez le mariage. Venez voir un rêve que Dieu a réalisé.
Je suis dépassé, ce qui n'était qu'un rêve, Dieu l'a réalisé.
Et bien que Cindy Mathurin et madame, un couple de passion, hein. ta santé. Et toi qui veux voyager, reçois ton visa. Et toi qui passes tous les jours à chercher l'argent, cette année avec l'argent, Dieu va te traumatiser. Et vous n'acclamez même pas le Seigneur, hein?
Melting Pot. A 2 hours edutainment program.
Anis 1, 2, 3. Maso Act 3. What if your solution comes from the mutual assistance and solidarity? Take the rendezvous for July 9, 2023 at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex as from 2 p.m. to celebrate African solidarity. Get registered and contribute as from 100 francs CFA. Certainly, you will be the beneficiary of one of the television sets, one of the refrigerators, one of the cookers, one of the set of chairs, or one of the complete bed plus mattress and 2 pillows. These, according to your choice and to permit you live a fulfilled life. At Maso, we simply live our African values. With the African spirit of solidarity and assistance, so that together we have a fulfilled life, the mutual assistance and solidarity can just be that opportunity for you to come out from the shackle of poverty, and with your 100 francs daily contribution to have 26,000 francs a yearly contribution, you can stand an opportunity to have an household equipment. We are talking about the mutual assistance and solidarity as we drive towards the end of registration and contribution into the mutual assistance and solidarity. You can benefit from one of the household equipment: a television set, a refrigerator, a cooker, a set of chairs, a complete bed plus mattress and 2 pillows. To be the lucky winner, just register into the mutual assistance and solidarity Maso. This will enable you to participate in the July 9, 2023 raffle draw ceremony organized by Renapo Finance SE through the mutual assistance and solidarity Maso. That event will take place at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex as from 2 p.m. And more Maso will propose 2 options. That is Maso Classics, where the offers are refundable without interest. As you contribute to 100 francs to have 26,000 francs. This year, 200 mutualists will stand an opportunity for them through Maso Classics to be able to benefit from a television set, a refrigerator, a cooker, a set of chairs and a bed plus mattress and 2 pillows. This will give you an opportunity for you to equip your house, and this is through the Maso Gold. You can equally stand an opportunity to benefit from a set of television, your refrigerator, your cooker, your set of chairs, or a complete bed plus mattress and 2 pillows. And to register, you just need to go to any of Renapo Finance SE agency. Maso Go, any of these contribution, you just need to have 52,000 francs CFA by the end of tomorrow, June the 29th, 2023 at 4 p.m. You stand an opportunity for you to benefit from the mutual assistance and solidarity Maso. To register, just go to any Renapo Finance SE agency. We have 27 of them in Cameroon, 13 of them in the capital city, Yaoundé. Just go to the end of this agency. It is not too late, even though it's we still have 1 day to go, and register into the mutual assistance and solidarity Maso. Stand an opportunity to benefit all the advantages of becoming a member of the mutual assistance and solidarity. Call any of our agents. They will meet you wherever you are, and you register into the mutual assistance and solidarity Maso. The numbers are 699442977, 699442977, 674397246, 674397246, 695339503, and you equally have 690202840, 690202840. Those are the numbers of our agents. So you meet us here at the Radio House, where FM is situated at Kame, beside the bus stop to the University of Yaoundé 2. So I will equally register you into the mutual assistance and solidarity Maso, given the fact that given the time film allow for the establishment of identification cards, and due to the high rates of demand at the different Winapo Finance SA agency, all mutualists who are fully paid their Maso Classic or Maso Go Act 3 contribution who has not yet had the identification cards are therefore authorized to participate in the July 9, 2023 raffle draw ceremony at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex by inserting their tickets in reference to the choosing offer in the ballot box found at the different agencies. So without your identification card, you can still register with your contribution or your cash booklet. You slip your ticket into the box and be able to participate in the raffle draw ceremony, where you can stand the opportunity to benefit from a household equipment, be it a television set, a refrigerator, your cooker, your set of chairs, or a complete bed plus a mattress and 2 pillows, be it in the Maso Classic or Maso Go, where in Maso Classic the offer is refundable with interest, while Maso Gold is refundable without any interest. The mutual assistance and solidarity closes its door tomorrow, June the 29, 2023, with the registration and contribution. But start 10 days to the event, that is will be on the 9th of July. You have the opportunity to equally participate in the raffle draw ceremony. And as from the 30th of this month, June, as a mutualist, you stand an opportunity to start to benefit from the different advantages of the mutual assistance and solidarity. Maso, remember that Maso is built on the African spirit of solidarity and assistance, with the main mission of having a fulfilled life full of happiness for all Cameroonians.
At Maso, we simply live our African values.
And we meet in the studio this evening, Soeba Obanuis here. Good evening to you, Aban.
Good evening, Mr. Abel, and a special good evening to our listeners.
Yeah.
Listeners of Royal FM, 88.4 FM, the listeners radio.
So how has the week been unfolding?
Well, the week has been without any stress so far. It's been unfolding stress-free. And I equally wish my Muslim faithfuls
I was even tempted to ask you that the name Suwayeba, is it not a Muslim name?
No. The name, so if you look carefully, like today, I was surprised to see a taxi in town today with the title Suwayeba on it. So I was like, oh.
you have to investigate that person.
Exactly. I have to investigate that person because it's really a rare name. So most people don't bear the name. So I wish them a happy feast, and as they feast, it's always advisable that they feast responsibly. It's always a pleasure to be on Melting Pot, and I would like to call on our listeners to stay put, because this evening they're going to learn one or two things, as well as they can equally participate and teach us as well.
Yeah, obviously, you take us to discuss something which is very pertinent in that is our topic for discussion this evening. We want to look at the aspect of discipline and success. Now, how can we size these two words, discipline, success? How does it come about? How can we differentiate them? What definition can we put to these two words?
You see, Abel, it's we can be frank with ourselves. We will say you cannot succeed if you are not disciplined. You understand? You cannot succeed if you are not a disciplined person. That is automatic. If you see somebody who succeeds and is not a disciplined person, then that's a miracle. Now, to edify our listeners, I would like to take it in two trajectories. You see, when we talk about discipline and the importance of discipline, it's very, very important as a parent and as a society, as a community, to start disciplining children at a tender age. You understand? It is very, very important to start the training and the discipline of our children when they are still at a very tender age, because at that age they capture a lot.
Okay.
And they say we teach by example. A disciplined parent, the child will simply just copy the attitude of being disciplined from a very tender age, and children copy very fast and very easily. Don't think that what you're doing your child is not seeing. If you're a parent who lies constantly, like if there's something and you'll tell a lie about it and your child is present and the child knows very well that what my mother or my father is saying is not true, you understand? The child starts copying the attitude of lies telling from a tender age and from the parents. That's why I said I have to take it from two trajectories.
Yeah.
Now, as a human being, if you actually want to be successful, you must be disciplined. And to be disciplined, you must bring out a program and endeavor to respect that program. You see, many people fail to succeed, not because they lack the means, but simply because they were not disciplined enough.
Okay.
You see, if you come out with a project or with a resolution, you say, okay, this year I'm going to realize this, or that. If you are not disciplined enough, even with the means that you have,
the opportunity that are being put at your disposal,
you're still going to fail
to face that same difficulties.
To realize it because you were not disciplined.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a simple example. You know, there are many businesses that you see a promising young man will open a business, and before you know it, it has crumbled.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Sometimes you ask yourself the question, why?
What happened? Not necessarily because
he has not been disciplined with the way he manages his finances.
He has not been disciplined. If you focus and say, okay, this money that's coming from the business, I will restrain myself from spending recklessly. When I say spending recklessly, I mean cultivating a habit of buying what you don't need.
Excesses.
You see, in excess, what you don't need. Then you have to avoid the attitude of copying what others are doing. If you see, you live within your means. You cannot have limited means, and then you look at your neighbor, you say, wow, Abel is riding a car, why am I still taking a taxi? I equally have to buy a car. Then you lack discipline.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, we are getting it.
If you envy others, you lack discipline. At the end of the day, you find yourself removing your money, buying a car, and then your business crumbling simply because you are not disciplined enough. If you take it, for example, you say, I will no longer consume much alcohol because it takes a lot of my money.
My money, yeah.
And you maintain and you stick to it. You see, there are people who, let me take a concrete example, that of those who smokers. You see, somebody wants to stop. It takes a lot of discipline for someone to stop smoking.
Okay.
And if you have such discipline, then there is a high tendency that you will be successful. And if you are not disciplined, you cannot be successful, no matter how you try.
Now, what is some of the advantages? A lot of people have been asking the question that we do talk about discipline. What is the advantages of someone being disciplined in a society? Does it mean that if I smoke, I cannot be successful? Does it mean that if I happens to be wayward in society, I cannot be successful? What are some of the advantages of being a disciplined person? Because when we go by what you just said, you said an individual can only be successful if he or she is healthy and disciplined in life.
Exactly. You see, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You understand?
I'm getting you.
Somebody who consumes alcohol and somebody who smokes
Yeah.
can be very successful.
Okay.
But these things bring tendencies of
Excesses.
probably when you consume them in excess,
Yeah.
you are likely to misbehave.
Okay.
And when you misbehave, you're putting society at risk. That's why I said a disciplined population has a peaceful and a progressive nation. Imagine that every Cameroonian were disciplined, then we will have a better Cameroon.
Yeah.
Obviously. Now, if
we
somebody
will not have prison yet because
We
it
will not have
starts from
prison
there.
yards.
We
You
don't
understand?
have embezzlement
We will not have-
because everybody will know what he or she is supposed to do at what time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
and when you are
understand.
disciplined, you understand the other person's needs
But
as well.
can we say Cameroonians are very indisciplined?
Exactly.
When you look at our young people today, can we rest assured that they can at least succeed because they are disciplined?
Now, when you look at our society today, you will find out that the rate at which youths, in particular, are consuming drugs. You see, hard drugs. It tells you that we are living in a society that is no longer disciplined. You see, the way the young people respond to adults, you see, their tone and then the language has changed completely. And when you look at the way the youths are lazy this time around, it tells you that they are not disciplined. Because for someone to be disciplined enough, I will bet with you, Abel, getting up every morning and coming to work needs a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And if you are not disciplined enough, you have problems at work. You understand? That's to tell you that to be successful, you must be
disciplined person.
And when you look at the rate at which our youths complain of unemployment today, it's because they feel that they cannot do anything. And it really takes a disciplined person to start doing any business that is legal and that will be providing money. You see, somebody will tell you that, why do you expect me to be selling puff-puff? Why do you expect me to sell bread?
With all my education?
With all my education, why do you expect me to sell beignet haricot? These are activities that can generate income. And it takes a disciplined society and a disciplined person to get up and start doing it and being committed to it. It's not a matter of starting it, but equally being committed. When I started, I was talking about disciplining your children.
Yeah.
You see, when you receive a good discipline from your parents, even at a certain age, when you're doing something which you know very well that is against the teachings of the background where you grew up, your conscience doesn't let you, or your conscience keeps troubling you. You know very well that this thing I'm doing, my parents told me it is not good. And then when you
have that mindset that will develop, will tend to develop a healthy environment for you to be able to dictate that this aspect is not helping for my development.
Parents these days are taking the discipline issue very lightly, unlike before.
But what is the cause of this? What is the cause of this high indiscipline that we find in our society today? You cited a lot of issues that in the past it was not like that, but we see it today.
No, exactly. The cause of it is, you see, a lot of young men shy away from their responsibilities. I'll tell you something which is very true when you look at the observation. When we were growing up, it was very difficult to see so many single mothers like we do have today. And the discipline aspect in a home is generally the responsibility of the father. You understand that in most homes, when we come, at times you do something wrong, and your mother will tell you that, wait for your father. Will tell your father what you did. So the father figure in a child's life is very, very important because he takes the role of the discipline master in the home. You understand? And then when you look at the society now, with a lot of single mothers, there's that lack of fatherly discipline.
That fatherly guide.
Meaning
that we fathers, we are not playing our role
in
bringing this discipline.
Affecting us negatively.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes. Now, joining us in the studio is Lambris Nelson. First of all, I want to say good evening to you, Lambris. It has been a while. Somebody once asked me on Saturday that Lambris is still there? Yes. Oh, he has traveled abroad because all Cameroonians today. Yes, we are talking about discipline and success. And the question we are asking this evening, can someone succeed without being disciplined in life?
It's a very good and excellent question. But before I answer the question, I want you to give me some few minutes of permission. Let me say something.
Okay.
I'm in deep sorrow.
Sorrow?
In very, very deep sorrow. I lost 2 friends yesterday by 8 p.m. One of them is Desiree, who is a police officer. Okay. And the other one is a popular bike man in Obili neighborhood in Yaoundé 3.
Accept our sympathy.
Evis. And this,
I know you are a brave man.
The situation.
You will not share tears here.
The circumstance of which these 2 young Cameroonians lost their life is deplorable. They left Yaoundé, they were going to Obala, in between Kozua and
they had
Obala.
An accident.
Yeah, around a bank, and the 2 of them had to give up the ghost at the same moment. I think it is a difficult moment, and I want to send my condolences to the communal family at Chapelle Obili around Carrefour Kamini.
Yeah, I understand that area.
They should have our afterward spot known as the Onda Mango.
Yeah.
That it is a path.
I know the Onda Mango.
It is a path for all of us. And we are going to follow that path one day. But we need to move on. And my condolences go to the families of these 2 brave Cameroonians. May their souls rest in the Lord.
Thank you very much.
Just to add to what Nelson is saying,
yes.
I grew up in the same neighborhood with the police officer
on the Mango
who just passed away. And while I was sitting here, a friend of mine was texting me.
Yeah, you said it earlier.
That he said Desiree has passed. I said, man, what happened? But he doesn't actually know what happened because he's still doubting. We grew up in the same neighborhood, so it's really sad. I just learned it when I reached here. My condolences to the family.
Our condolences to the family. It's really touching. I've never seen Lambris in a state like this. I understand. Good evening to you, Agbo Masha.
Good evening, Abel, Bella, Samari. Good evening to our dear listeners. Good evening to Nelson Lambris. Good evening to Sueba. And good evening to Reverend Bisai Emmanuel Noel.
Yes, it's a pleasure for us to have you on Melting Pot, sir.
Me too.
Rest assured, your invitation is already there.
Oh,
it's especially said to you
wonderful.
For the July 9 Rifle Just
I received that.
But you met us at the time when we are talking about discipline success, and the question we are asking: can somebody succeed in this life of ours without being disciplined?
Okay, discipline is very critical as a subject.
Yeah.
Why? Because
a whole subject of itself.
A whole subject of itself.
But we don't have that type of subject. We have it like a subunit.
And it's a very sad remark what you are saying. And discipline as well should be part of ethics.
Okay.
Exactly. Part of what we call ethics.
Ethics and deontology.
And deontology. Thank you.
The profession.
Exactly. Abel, discipline is part and parcel of the society.
Okay.
It's part and parcel of professionalism. Because even in the journalism profession, we need discipline. Mm-hmm. If we are not disciplined, we will fail in what? In our duty.
Yeah.
And today, we see the society getting worst in terms of moral values. We see the society drawing nearer and nearer or plunged in what we call juvenile delinquency. Mm-hmm. Because the way we train our children, we leave out the aspect of what? Discipline. Discipline is very important. Even in the Bible, it is said, do not spare the rod and spoil the child. Now, that sparing the rod
but are we sparing the rod today?
And that is the question.
Okay.
Today, we find a situation where we say no beating in school, and no thrashing, and no this, no that.
I want the children to succeed.
We want the children to succeed. But now, we are like telling them that even if you don't do your assignments, even if you don't come to school on time, even if you insult a teacher, at least you'll be exempted from what? Such a punishment.
Yeah.
Whereas we know, Abel, how that punishment was valuable in putting in us what? Knowledge, wisdom, and morality. We all attended primary school.
Yeah.
And we remember the mulongos and all the rest.
Yeah, 24 lashes on the cane. You
Thank you.
confess.
And what the impact it brought on us. But was it a bad thing? No. Because there's a difference between training a child to educate and training a child or correcting a child to harm the child.
Yeah.
We are not talking of beating a child like what we find in the slave trade affair. But we are talking of what? Using a whip, using punishments and any other form of disciplinary measures in order to what? Put the child on the right path. And that is why, Abel, when someone is disciplined, that person will make it. Why? Because discipline brings out what? Our moral values. Okay. And our moral values is what the society needs.
In order for us to excel professionally.
Exactly, professionally.
But can self-discipline affect or can induce discipline not help to promote?
Thank you. That is why I talk of ethics.
That's why does this two coincide?
That's why I talk of.
Yes.
But Abel, you should know that self-discipline comes from what?
Induced discipline.
Exactly. You know.
Okay, if the induced discipline is not there, for maybe our listeners who might be saying that what is this? Because we know induced discipline is the one that is being meted on you.
Exactly.
Maybe from parents to children.
Exactly.
Then self-discipline is the one that you yourself you
develop, you cultivate.
But can we have the self-discipline if the induced discipline does not come in?
I believe that is the aim of induced discipline. When you say train your child in a way that he will not depart away from it, it means what? When you bring your child up in a good way, you are like telling the child that at a given point in time you have to take care of your own responsibilities and continue with the path that has been shown to you. Why? Because he or she would have the conscience of what? Being that person that would inculcate what? The same moral values to his or her children. But in the first place, if there is no induced discipline, how do we expect someone to bring out what? The self-discipline. It is true there are rare cases of human beings like that. People were immorally brought up, but at the end they developed. But not all the cases. But here we are talking of a generalized domain. Example.
Yeah.
Yes, the way you train your child, that's how the child will grow, and the child will see life normal, and we should not blame the child for it. Today we are accusing the homosexuals. We are accusing this is bad, this is bad. But do you think that a child who grows up in such a setting will see it as a bad thing? No. Just the way you see Christianity as a good thing, that is how you will see it as a good thing. And he would grow up to train others to adopt such a way of life.
So we must induce.
We must induce the right
discipline.
Exactly.
For us to be able to have self.
And Abel, I will also add something.
Yes.
The discipline we are talking here must be according to what? The ethics.
Okay.
Discipline should not be oriented to any form of personal gains or interest.
Yeah.
Because we are fond of that.
Sometimes we say discipline differ. The discipline
that is
students would take is not the same discipline a primary school child would take. It's not the same discipline a professional will take. This brings me to the question: Alba, can you employ somebody who is not disciplined?
Of course, if you employ someone who is not disciplined, it means that you do not like your company or your association or your institution. Because, for example, if you are to employ a teacher, you have to get someone who is disciplined, someone who will be time conscious, someone who knows that I have to
punctuality.
I have to be punctual. I have to mark my scripts on time, and then someone who equally, in the course of teaching, inculcate some moral values into the students. You see, because as I said earlier, our children are lacking discipline today because of the way the timid nature of the discipline. What the pastor was saying is quite correct. You see, when we were going to school, if you didn't do your homework, you are whipped.
Exactly.
Very well. But now it's no longer the case. They've even banished it from happening. I don't think there is a teacher in school or the discipline master who had the intentions of harming a people. It was rather a way of correcting them. Because of the fear.
In the course of discipline, that is where we can have a bit of accident. But from the primary base, no teacher will wish to harm a child.
In the fear of the whip, made some of us to do our assignments on time. At times, you stop playing on Sunday evening, knowing very well that you have to go back to your assignment. If not, you will be whipped. And that happened, and that made you to be disciplined to know that you have to do this on time.
Nelson Lambris, they says that in legal parlance, a disciplined person shy away from the court, but an indisciplined person will become a client to the laws and aspiration. Our thematic or our main question is: can someone ever succeed without being disciplined? Can somebody say, I am an island of discipline, I take no instruction from nobody? The aspect of discipline and success, how do you look at it?
I think what you said is just correct, but I want to draw inspiration from the people who manage money. Okay. We call them the finance expert or economist. Yeah. We grew up from secondary school right up to the university, knowing that we have something like production, with the factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. But they forget something. The most important factor of life is time. That's the most important factor of life is time. And if you're not disciplined, you will never manage your time well. And there's a saying in English: what you want to do today, do it now. And what you want to do tomorrow, do it today. If you fail to do that, it means you are not disciplined. Because you went to school and you have a lumsy attitude, and the age limit for you to join the public service in Cameroon is 32 years, and you graduate from school at 33, whatever thing you have there is useless to the state because of indiscipline. But we need to distinguish between disciplined and punishment. Okay. Yes. And
no, we are not talking about punishment.
Yes, I understand.
We're talking about the discipline aspect.
Most people see people who are disciplined in the society as wicked people. People who are actually disciplined to the fullest. They are seen as people who are wicked. They are seen as people who are Machiavellic, as people who are dangerous. Yeah. But they are just trying to implement the life. Just imagine you, Ebebela Samari, that you are the director of this program, and your program is supposed to start at 6 p.m. and maybe your guests or all the other co-workers or your subordinates, they come to work at 7 o'clock. Can that program ever be successful?
No.
So discipline means you respect time, you respect yourself. If I am a worker at your radio, one of the self-disciplines that I need to respect hierarchy. I don't need to talk to hierarchy anyhow. Yeah. And we know that in according to the labor code in Cameroon, insofar as you are a subordinate and there is a superior, each time you are given an instruction, you obey before you complain. That is what the law says. Okay. Now, if you're a seasoned journalist and the director of this program is sending you to go buy puff puff, you go and buy the puff puff and you come back later, Mr. Director, that is not my job description. Okay. You don't shout at your director, you don't shout at your superior in the presence of other co-workers, but you respect and you come back and you complain with evidence, with proof, and with facts, and you have a cause or a right over your director.
Meaning that even the law punishes the aspect of indiscipline. Yes. But now, the question I want to find out from you, gentlemen, well, why is it that we find it very difficult today in our society to inculcate the aspect of discipline? A lot of young people look at discipline as something for the old. But the question I'm tempted to ask, as an individual, mature that we are we supposed to be disciplined to ourselves, or are we supposed to live our life the way we want to live it? Maybe I'll start with the pastor.
Then maybe
personal discipline. Should I say, for example, if I set up a habit that I need to be in my house at 10 o'clock in the evening, then at one point I say, I'm the patron of the house, I even can come out at 2 a.m. Can we, this aspect of self-discipline, how can we portray it to benefit us when we want to?
Abel, the first thing we need to understand is self-discipline is made for mature people. If we are not mature, we cannot be self-disciplined. Mm-hmm. So the question is, are we mature? Because when we are at a tender age or when we are growing, it means we are under someone's responsibility. Yeah. Seeing our fragile nature and seeing our dependency. That means we need to be molded in order to get to that level where we can be able to manage discipline without the strength of any other person. But before arriving there, work has to be done. That is the problem. And this is applied in all domains. You know, I usually take the case of education. Okay.
Perhaps
when we
it's
take from
because
the
you're an
basic,
educationist.
the secondary, the university. Now you will notice something, that the type of discipline or the degree of discipline that is being practiced at the higher education is different from what the discipline practiced at the secondary or the basic education. Why? Because at the higher level of education, we believe that the student at least has a certain degree of maturity and knows what he or she wants. Even though today it's a very funny situation. Why? Because we find university students still with what the secondary school mentality. I have students where you have to shout and order before they even come to school. It is terrible. And he is in a university. She is in a university. What do you do? One will tell you that, no, I thought you would have first called me. I say, hey, the teacher has to first call you before you get up to come to school. It's a very funny. I just looked at it like that with a colleague. I said, eh? Are you saying that because you are paying 400,000 and you think that your money is sufficient to justify your position, or are you saying it out of
maybe
ignorance?
Perhaps you say who buy the pipe?
I said in SWA, can you say that? Or it's because they pay 50. So it is really funny, and it's a very sad situation.
Yeah.
Where we are mature in age, but not mature in our mentality, not mature in our conduct. And we see imbalance. And that imbalance comes from the fact that training at the basic level most of the time failed to take its course.
Okay. The foundation.
Yes, the foundation. And the foundation, I still come back to what? The parents at home. The parents at home. Abel, you know.
But today they will tell you that dialogue with the child.
That is it.
But with dialogue, are we not disciplining the child also?
No, Abel, you know, discipline has many faces.
Okay.
There are situations where you dialogue. There are situations where you
need to be hard.
You need to be hard.
The animal you need to come out for the children to see that. No,
but
this aspect is serious.
We should also be careful as parents. Why? Because even when the animal comes out, the child should not see the negative side of the animal.
Okay.
Because discipline must be positive. Everything about discipline must be positive.
Yeah.
You should not be positive.
Lambi says discipline is different from punishment.
I saw a father disciplining the child and saying, your mother. Insulting that mama. So that type of discipline does not go. So we should be positive. Anderson, you understand where we are coming to? Yes. And type of insults.
This aspect you have done.
I am telling you.
They say what an Oma will see sitting down, your Oma will not stand.
That is it, Abel.
This aspect can lead you to these
consequences. In my neighborhood, insult in the dialect, Elang and all the rest. How do you expect the child? You see, it's terrible, Abel. So we should be positive even in our disciplines. We should avoid insults. We should avoid insults. We should avoid, how do I call it, using curses. Yeah, because you cannot discipline the child by cursing the child. You know, the power of the tongue is something. And that is what we teach in church. You this good for nothing. What do you expect the child to become?
To be good for nothing.
That is it. Useless fellow. You call your child a useless fellow. It is terrible. And we believe that is this discipline, that saying that will change the child's mentality by revolting the child. But it's a curse we are throwing on the child actually. And this is a whole teaching. We should be very careful. We should be very careful. And even with Christians, I find even pastors at times making such mistakes. So I believe that discipline should be tackled from an only the positive angle. Not to hurt, not to kill, not to destroy, but to educate, to build or to mold. Yeah. So that the child should be a better citizen tomorrow. Whipping is not a bad thing, but you should whip to educate, not whip to harm. Okay? You saw the case, I saw a video of a woman in the southwest that got the child well beaten to death. Yeah. That is not
that's
discipline.
The negative aspect of the animal in her.
That is, Nelson talk of, that's wickedness even. That's punish, I don't know how they call it, that's wickedness, the negative.
And the law will not spare you.
So the lion in her came out and devoured the child, but it's terrible. And we keep on making some of these mistakes, and we find it very comforting. But when the child begins developing the characteristics of what our mouth has declared upon them, we start crying, God, why? Why? Whereas the problem lies within us. And that is why I always tell you, Abel, that discipline or education is both religious and academic. So both go together, and each and every one, they have the role to play. In school, they will not forcefully tell you that when you insult your child or give names, it will have an effect. But in church, they will tell you the spiritual effects of what? The language we use on children.
Mm-hmm.
So
the power of the tongue.
That is it. They will not forcefully tell you that in school. Mm-hmm. And even on the grounds of ethics, they will tell you that you should be morally brought up, you should not insult, you should not this, but they will not tell you the effect. So each educational setting has its impact on a child, be it at home, be it in church, or be it in school. So I believe that the three should work hand in glove in order to build what? Complete citizens.
Now, listen, it will only take an indisciplined child to knife the teacher to death. Now, when we see some of the aspect that is coming, those days, when an elderly person talks to a young man, it tells you thank you, it tells you I'm sorry. He goes for errand without any complaint. He's happy even to go for this errand. But today, when you want to send a young man, the next question, you don't come here. Mm-hmm. How much will you give me? There is nothing for the poor or for the rich. It's the society really putting up enough effort to be able to implement this aspect of discipline to this generation of today.
Is a failure of parental education 20%?
Do that parents also have that knowledge?
A failure,
because when we have young parents, like Abban was saying a while ago, when we have young parents who don't know the knowledge of parenthood, you always give what you have.
Is the failure of parental education 20%? Okay. Is a failure of the societal ethics, morals 10%, and is the failure of the government 70%. It's a total failure of our educational system, where our kids are taught just their rights and not their obligations, where our kids are taught to be in a fearless society, as if we are in a jungle. They don't tell them what they are supposed to do. They tell them what people are supposed to do to them. If you see a society today where those in secondary school are allowed to come to school with their pregnancy, as if secondary school has become a maternity, what are you telling the child? As you are a secondary school student, don't concentrate on your bookwork. Go flirting. When you're pregnant, you still go to school. Nothing will happen to you.
They say it's another form of protecting the girl child.
Go to school
she's
late.
Just a victim.
Go to school late. Since we have warned the teachers not to beat you, not to punish you, not to discipline you, nothing will happen to you. Don't do your assignment. Nobody is going to do anything to you. If you like, come to school after 2 months, nothing will happen to you. That is the education we are giving our kids. I'm taking educational sector to be a good example. No punishment is supposed, no discipline is supposed to be meted out in a pupil or a student. How do you want them to be good breath in the society? How? You tell them, do whatever thing you want and nothing will happen to you. And us parents, so pretentious as we are not there to ask our kids if you have actually done your assignment, because we claim to be too busy in quotes. But the day that child is being punished by a teacher in school for not doing the assignment, we are not busy and we go to school to fight with the teacher. We are all hypocrites. And we are destroying our kids, sparing the rod and spoiling the child. What do you expect a child to... Now, we're talking about discipline at work. If a child does not know that I need to go to school at 8 o'clock a.m., 1 minute past 8, I will be punished. Tomorrow you employ the child here and work starts at 7. The child will come at 9 because the child is already used to going late. You need to inculcate, you need to culture, you need to build that child to know that time factor is important. And if you are self-disciplined, you respect your elders, you respect your hierarchy, you respect your job, you respect the nation, you respect the institution, and you respect everything. That is what we call discipline. But that iota and that aspect of discipline is not inculcated in our kids for them to grow up with. Just take, for example, somebody who have a lumsy attitude in Cameroon that does not even have time to do anything. Immediately the person leaves here. Even to talk to the person on phone is a problem. I'm driving, I'm going to work. Work start at 3. I need to leave this work after 4 hours and I go to an, that's already being disciplined. And from the moment you are disciplined, you make it in life. But here, that iota of discipline is not there, because he knows that if he's supposed to take over somebody at 4 o'clock and you are not there, automatically you'll be disciplined. So it makes you to be self-disciplined. Nobody can auto-discipline without the rules and regulation to fashion that person to be a self-disciplined person. But in Cameroon, we are destroying our kids by building a wrong nation for them tomorrow.
And now some people are even saying that the country is a continent. Cameroon is a continent, because anything you put on the social media, you see somebody will be reacting. Then you ask yourself, what does this person even have time to be busy the way we are? So, who should be blamed for the type of discipline we have in our society today?
You see, Abel, when you are disciplined, in the first place, it profits you before society.
Okay.
Because if you are not disciplined, it affects society as well, because you don't live in the society on your own. But discipline profits you first before society. It is advantageous to you as an individual to be disciplined, because from there you're going to succeed. Let's take a simple example. You know, if you're able to control yourself or self-discipline yourself from excesses, for alcohol, for example, you will bear with me that if you drink excessively, the next day you are unproductive. You are not productive. It affects your health, and it affects your production. It means if you are able to discipline yourself that, okay, I won't drink alcohol, or I will drink this particular quantity of alcohol, it will be advantageous for you first before the society. Now, who is to be blamed? I think the blame is shared. But most especially our parents. You know, parents this time, they have to step up the game of discipline. Because as I earlier told you, it starts from a tender age, and children capture, and they get, when you start training children, and you say you don't talk back to an elderly person. You understand? When they give you something, you say thank you. You see, you don't take somebody, you say, I'm sorry. When you see someone, you greet the person. You know, it takes it from a tender age. The child starts telling you, and then you see, when you see a disciplined child, you know, he will tell you that they don't do this. They don't do this. Don't do this. You understand? And that is where, especially the mothers come in, because they pass a lot of time because in Africa,
some will tell you that we don't even have mothers today because the father and the mother are busy with work,
and that's what they are not supposed
and the house
to do.
Help are taking over
you have to find
management
time
of our children.
You must find time for your children, because you are training a future. Let's be honest. If you are not properly trained or properly trained as a child, you will never make a good father. Neither will you make a good husband, nor a good wife, nor a good mother. You understand? It starts from the base. That is why we are having many failed marriages today, because the training was not good, and they lack a lot of discipline. And then when they grow up, when they are matured, that aspect keeps lacking. You see, and the fathers need to play a very important role. I mentioned about the fathers here because why? You see, let's take a child, for example. When a child is having a problem, or when you threaten a child, what does he say? I'll tell my father. He hardly says, I'll tell my mother. So the fact that most of the fathers are not in their children's life helps the children to grow up trying to fight for themselves, and then they lack this particular discipline that the father brings.
The role of the lion
in
the family.
When that is lacking, the child is likely to be wayward. So I think if the parents, especially the fathers, could step up,
take their responsibility,
we are going to have more
that God has given us this family
in our society.
We need to stand strong.
And as I said earlier, when we have a disciplined society, we'll have a productive and a progressive society, and a peaceful society at that. Because those who are giving us insecurity problems in our country are those who are not disciplined. They are those who consume hard drugs, and then they feel that They can do anything. There are those who even drop out of school. Most of them drop out of school. Most of them are lazy. They don't want to work. They just feel that they will just sit around and start begging. And they want to be obliged to you giving them something.
Now, before I go to Pastor Agbomasha, Nelson, I want to find out from you. All what we are witnessing, the acts of indiscipline, is it not because we have failed to implement like the study of law? Because when we bring law and ethics from the nursery aspect of our society right up to even our professional life today, then you will see that even if we are lacking from the house, but our studies back in our education will push us to be able to have these ingredients of life, to be able to know that life, for you to succeed, you need to be disciplined.
I'm happy that, may his soul rest in peace, my father was so versed with courts. He never went to school. But if you had to tell him, shut up, he would take you to court. So he saw it and he was like imposing to us, you must read law. And no matter how we resisted, he insisted. And a person like me, I had to succumb to that. But again, I have discovered that in the society of ours, that is in Cameroon, you allow people to do what you think is wrong for a very long time. And then you come at the verge of that aging age, and you ask them to do what you think is correct.
Right. When the iron has already been bent.
Yes, take for example, there is a common course in secondary school known as citizenship.
Yeah.
Nobody,
is it effective?
Nobody pays attention to it.
I've never heard my child discussing that.
Good. And there is a course in the commercial sector in Cameroon known as law and government.
Yeah.
Nobody pays attention to it. But trust me, everybody after A levels and the bachelor's degree, they want to go to ENAM. You cannot skip law. Go up and come down. You read law in ENAM.
Maybe perhaps that's one of the reasons why we have deals that will be asking for application to Eric.
They read law. You want to go to police school, to all the schools of this state. Yeah. And there are some people that are working with the Cameroon government. And they go back to the University of Yaoundé to SWA to read law. Now, after making the students not to have interest in this, when they graduate, you ask them to go into the civic service participation to learn what you denied them to learn when they were still young. You see, we behave as if we are just, I don't know, as if we are just passing away and this is not.
But we have seen in other society nursing, like, let me take the American student society, they try to formulate the type of Americans that they want in the next 10, 20 years.
No matter what you do, no matter what you do, they inculcate the spirit of patriotism to you by loving your institution, by knowing that the state supersedes any other association. They inculcate to those kids from the very tender age. But here it's not even the case. Some people even think that some political parties are more than the state of Cameroon, and the state of Cameroon is subordinate because the ignorance of the law.
And that is an aspect of indiscipline. Pastor, if we have to review, what Nancy you just said is very pertinent. I have a friend who is a police. She once told me that you cannot dare me in law. I said, when did you study law? Because I know you very well. He said, the police has made me to understand. So we should not wait when you have already been in a certain place. That is where you'll be able to study the law. But if we want to be back this society based on discipline that will permit us succeed, Pastor Agbomasha, what should be the axis? What should be the pillar we should focus on?
Abel, I talked of three.
Okay.
Three educational settings that should be respected. One, that which is home-based. 2, that which is academic. 3, that which is religious.
Okay.
And 1, home-based.
The basis.
The basis.
Yes.
That's what Alban
was saying.
Yes, it gave a little bit of details on. Second, academics.
Okay.
Stressing more on what? The aspect of citizenship, as Nelson rightly mentioned.
I like the law. Law and ethics.
Law and ethics. Law and ethics.
Who is the Minister of Women and the Family and the other stuff?
Law and ethics. Okay.
Yes.
And then
no citizenship will always tell us the minister of women
empowerment,
women empowerment and the family.
A family.
Then and the children will just write the answer and pass.
From there,
if you take the law and ethics, saying ethics in life, this is you are supposed to do this. It will yield better fruit. We should not be confused with the name.
Okay,
yes.
then
the academics.
Academic, then the religious aspect in church. We should know that in church we do not only go to ask for offerings.
Yes, or the chapel, or
exactly.
the mosque.
So pastors and the priests should orientate their teachings.
The imams and all the like.
Exactly. Should orientate their teachings on what? Building men and women of dignity. So I think that when these three pillars are built,
we can have a very successful
family, and the government will have less stress.
Thank you very much, Pastor Gomasha.
I feel honored, Abel.
How can we be rapidly urban, a better society? What are the pillars we need to put in place?
For us to be a better society now, we need to be conscious. We need to educate ourselves.
The consciousness comes in.
Educate ourselves.
Education comes in.
Exactly. To know that we are not living on our own.
Okay.
And to know that it is beneficial to you to be disciplined.
Okay.
So it is not, you are not disciplined for some other person, but for yourself. Exactly.
Because discipline you yourself will enable you or grow healthy.
Society will be
rapidly, nursing.
We need to be self-disciplined. We need to respect the institutions of our country. I need to have a sense of patriotism.
Somebody once says that discipline helps to develop the mindset and for you to become professional. He's here with me in the studio. I always call him one of the most intelligent because he reads a lot, but he's also a very disciplined person. Good afternoon to you, Jean-Jacques.
Oui, bonsoir Ibel La Samari, bonsoir aux invités, bonsoir également aux nombreux auditeurs qui nous écoutent à travers le transistor.
Tu sais que souvent c'est toi qui parles aux dernières paroles.
Oui.
How can we succeed through discipline? Can somebody ever succeed when the person is not disciplined in this life?
Non, c'est pas possible. Vous savez, généralement, il y a au moins 3 critères qui entrent dans le processus de réussite.
Oui.
Il y a la discipline, qui ne peut pas manquer. Il y a l'organisation, il faut être bien organisé. Et ensuite, il faut avoir une vision. Il faut avoir une pleine vision de ce que vous voulez. Donc, en réalité, la discipline, c'est d'abord la discipline personnelle. Vous vous imposez un certain nombre de codes et de contraintes, d'abord à vous, avant de l'imposer aux autres. Donc non, on ne peut pas réussir sans discipline.
Il y a des gens qui sont écrits au livre par rapport à cette thématique.
Oui, je crois que sur le développement personnel, oui.
Ok.
Lorsqu'on parle de développement personnel, vous allez vous rendre compte que à l'intérieur, on vous dit d'avoir des objectifs clairs, smart, c'est-à-dire que des objectifs que vous allez accumuler progressivement.
Yes,
donc,
rapidly.
Oui.
Un point littérature.
Alors, le point littéraire,
oui,
on va dire qu'on va avoir la littérature d'ailleurs et on aura une poésie du Cameroun. Donc, on a 2 auteurs, du moins on a un auteur et puis Eve Akam viendra nous présenter la virgule littéraire.
Et les Camerounais lisent déjà.
Je crois qu'on progressivement ça prend.
Non, il faut qu'on lit. Il y a toujours des sense dans le reading. Listeners, don't move a muscle because up next is Point Literature with Jean-Jacques Foucault. Stay blessed in the company of Royal 88.4 FM.
Royal FM is out to conquer the world. Listen